Greetings, Star Warrior.
Welcome to the Outer Rim. So, last weekend was a drag. So on Friday I uploaded a video early in the morning, and of course, before I knew it, I had comments on the video, and Benjamin Keith, who is part of my audience, kind of requested that I do a response video to another YouTuber. And I thought, well, I have time today, so why not? I can do this. Okay, so I was in for a rude awakening. It took all day. And the problem with me is that I'm not a multitasker. I'm terrible at that, so when I start something, and I have a pretty good idea that I can get it done within a reasonable amount of time, then I basically don't stop. I don't stop to eat. I don't stop to sleep. I just race through it as fast as I can. So after the editing process and all that stuff was done, I got it uploaded. It was somewhere around 2 o'clock the next morning, and I was wiped out. In fact, I was wiped out for the entire rest of the weekend. I feel great today, but Saturday and Sunday I felt terrible. So that sort of leaves me into, you know, the topic of this video, and I've got to say I've got good news and I've got a little bad news too. So this month I'm going to be in the process of moving. The problem is right now that I'm not sure where I'm going to be moving. So there's a lot of, you know, work that that's going to pull me away from making videos at the rate that I usually do. And that really bugs me because you guys have been an awesome audience. Every time I make a video, you do not wait to watch and comment and support the channel, and I appreciate that a lot. The good news is that I have a ton of channels that I watch, and so the best course of action I thought for me to take was to basically list off the channels that I think are amazing and deserve support and are going to, you know, not only entertain you guys, but also they've been saying generally the same stuff I've been saying. In fact, I often get information from my videos from some of them, and some of them get information from me. So, you know, it's not like you're going to miss me too much. So I'm basically going to list these names in the same order that they appear in my subscription section. It's not alphabetized or anything. It just seems like a random order. So the first one is SC Reviews. I have to say, I get tons of ideas from this guy, but he has a somewhat slightly different perspective on things than I do. Like, I'm boycotting Disney in general. I don't go watch their movies, but SC Reviews has a sort of different perspective. He definitely does not boycott stuff, or at least he's definitely not boycotting Disney and Star Wars and stuff. And here's why it's important to have him. He's not fighting a war against Disney, and that's valuable because when he gives a critique of their films, no one can say he's biased. Now, I have to admit, I have a bias against Disney these days. There's just no two ways around it. I didn't walk into The Last Jedi wanting to hate Star Wars or hate that movie or wanting to hate Disney at all. I came out that way, and now I am certainly jaded over it, and I can't deny that I have a bias. And kind of the way I see it is that when you're fighting a war or you're in conflict with somebody, you don't want to have one sort of soldier or troop. You don't want to just have infantry. You want to have cavalry and other, you know, areas and ways to fight. And what I've realized is that the reason we're all here is because we want to see good movies. And specifically, we want to see good Star Wars movies. Well, that's the same thing he's saying on his channel. He doesn't like the direction they're taking Star Wars. He just happens to watch it and then go online and talk about it. Like, I am only going to be able to say so much about the Solo movie when it comes out. So if that movie's a disaster, SC Reviews is going to be the one who you want to talk to. Him and a couple other people I'm going to mention later on in this video. The next channel is Addicts of Film. I've actually watched them for quite a while. There's several of them, and what I've noticed is that some of them come and go. It's difficult for me to remember all their names, but I do remember Ben. He was the one I was first acquainted with, and he seems to be kind of the guy running the thing. I don't want to say that, but you know, he's kind of the central guy to the whole thing, it seems like to me. But I thought that they have a pretty cool setup. They're also like SC Reviews. I don't think that they're boycotting Disney or Star Wars, but you know, they give their honest opinion on things. The next channel is the Anti-Trekker. He doesn't do just Star Wars. He probably does Star Trek a whole lot more than Star Wars, but his Star Wars The Last Jedi videos are great. And in a lot of ways, he sort of reminds me of myself when he sees something that is totally ridiculously scientifically inaccurate in a movie. He he jumps on that, you know, and he did that with The Last Jedi in a lot of ways. And he's just freaking hilarious. I mean, he kind of sounds like Neil deGrasse Tyson, which makes me laugh every time. The next one is my good friend Abu Nas, and he cracks me up because first, I think it was a week ago, he got into it on Twitter with, what was that writer's name? God, I can't remember the guy who wrote Aftermath. And then he got into it, recently with Ryan Johnson on Twitter, and I wasn't on Twitter because I just was so wiped out over the weekend and I had so much work to do as well, which was terrible for me. But, yeah, he'll take people down on Twitter, then he'll get on YouTube and give you the rundown of the whole thing. And then after he uploads a video where he gives you the rundown, he uploads a follow-up video where he drops some rhymes on Disney and Ryan Johnson and whatever it is he's talking about at the moment. Now, I don't want to say he does that without fail because it's not my place to hold him to a certain schedule, but so far, without fail, every time he uploads another or a 30-minute video, he always drops a second one where he is just letting Disney have it. So, Abu Nas is an extremely talented and prolific lyricist. Check him out. He's a really cool guy who happens to love Star Wars the way we do. The next channel is Geeks and Gamers, and I think one of the best things about Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers is that he could be a fan of someone like a YouTuber like Christian Harloff and John Campia, and that doesn't stop him from calling them out when they're saying something stupid. If you really want to know, I would suggest going over to Geeks and Gamers, checking out their videos, and even the Geeks and Gamers website. The next channel is Mindless Entertainment, Jessie Milestone. I like both of those names, Mindless Entertainment and Jessie Milestone. She's got a great channel going on. She's funny. Well, for one thing, she does some stand-up comedy work. I love stand-up comedy. And just to listen to people who can do that speak, you know, I almost feel like she's letting everyone see her as she's working on sort of her routine or working out certain jokes. That's probably not what's going on, but definitely it feels like it might be going on. And she freaking hates The Last Jedi. She dropped an awesome video. I think it was on Friday. I saw it after I uploaded my 3 videos during that day, and I was wiped out. Something made me go online and watch a few YouTube videos before I went to bed, and hers was one of them. She pretty much woke me up for the entirety of the time I was watching, man. I was just, wow. And then she gave me a shout out, which was unbelievable. So go watch Mindless Entertainment. The next video is Stephanie Janousek. Love her channel. Along with me and Abu Nas, I know for a fact that she is boycotting Star Wars, Disney Star Wars. I like her style. When you watch her videos, if you listen really, really carefully, you'll know she's a music lover and everything. Probably the thing my favorite part of her channel is her live videos that she does. It's fun to join her during those times and just have fun with like 20 other people or however many, you know, are online with her at the same time. That's really, really cool. And she's got a pretty deep understanding of people in general and fiction as well. I always find her opinion and her perspective enlightening. So go check out Stephanie Janousek. The next YouTube channel is Shamy Entertainment. My boy Shane. He's freaking hilarious from the word go. From the beginning of each and every video, he starts off at like 100% pure energy, and he keeps you, you know, at 100% energized for like sometimes 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes sometimes. I mean, I have never seen another person who could do so many freaking impressions of famous people. By the way, Shane, I've heard you do a lot of impressions. I don't think I've heard you do William Shatner yet. What's up, man? You've got to do William Shatner. Follow Shamy Entertaining. The next channel needs no introduction, really. World-class bullshitters. Love that channel. They've got great voices, man, and they're funny as hell. They're definitely a must-watch. Next is, I hope I'm saying this right, Vivienne Fonseca. Another cool channel that I found, you know, within the last week or maybe couple weeks or something like that. She's got a pretty cool geeky setup, you know. A lot of stuff in the background. You'll notice that she doesn't really talk about too much, but you notice it's back there and it lends some atmosphere to her videos. And she's got a cool accent. You can't beat that, right? Watch Vivienne Fonseca. The next video is John Talks Star Wars. I haven't had really much opportunity to interact with him, like a couple of other people on this list, but he drops truth, and he's really, really good at relating what he's trying to say. The problems with The Last Jedi, he's got them. you've got him, and when he's talking to you, you feel like you can relate to the guy pretty easily. He's succinct and to the point, and he's definitely a must-watch. Watch John talk Star Wars. Next on this list is probably my earliest friend as far as, the anti-Disney crowd goes, Dark Zenovia, and he is literally the guy who convinced me to boycott Disney Star Wars. You guys may or may not have seen one of my earlier videos where I was definitely for going to see the Solo movie because I felt if you didn't go see it, you can't say anything about it. And I'll just say right now that Dark Zenovia did not go to see The Last Jedi for months. He was definitely against going to see. What he did do was get, a list of spoilers or a synopsis or something, and he talked about that, and he buried that movie. If I'm not mistaken, he went to go see it mid-March or something like that. He paid like $3 or $4, and he buried it a second time. Even worse. That was a great video. Go watch my friend Dark Zenovia. You won't regret that. If you have pure hatred for The Last Jedi, then you will see your pure hatred reflected in what Dark Zenovia says. Next is a channel that I've been subscribed to for quite a while, a couple months. The Gospel According to Mark with a C, and he seems to be doing real well since the first time I actually saw his channel. He definitely seems to have an interesting perspective on Star Wars and The Last Jedi in general. Like, I don't have kids of my own, but I sort of understand his perspective, not wanting to take his kids to see movies like that. He's, seems like a pretty family-oriented guy, and the effect that those sort of movies and the message that that movie would send to kids, he doesn't like, I don't like, and therefore I see completely eye to eye with the Gospel According to Mark with a C as far as The Last Jedi and Star Wars in general goes. Check out the Gospel According to Mark with a C. The next channel is Jar Abrams, and to my knowledge, I haven't watched all his videos, but to my knowledge, he doesn't really say anything personally. He puts the truth out there in video form, and he lets us make up our own damn minds about what we think. In other words, he'll put out a video of Mark Hamill saying stuff, or Kathleen Kennedy saying stuff, or Rian Johnson saying stuff, and leave it to the public to make up their minds. Go check out Jar Abrams. It's a cool channel. And the final channel is the Farce Awakens. This is a cool animated channel. They do great work. It's almost like how it should have ended sort of thing. Sort of quality anyway. They're funny. I wish I could do more work like that. I just don't have the time to animate as much as I would like. I would love to do that, almost be a professional YouTube animator and be able to make a living doing that instead of the job I actually have now. It would be awesome, but, maybe someday. Go check out the Farce Awakens. You won't regret that. It's hilarious. I will link all of these videos in the description box below, probably in the same order that I've listed them in this video. And, as always, if you're listening, you are the new rebellion. You are the new rebellion. You are the new rebellion. You are the new rebellion.